Hi, I'm Andrew Spaziano, and this is an Anchor TV news update. In national news, Belgium's capital of Brussels was rocked on Tuesday by several terror attacks that have killed 31 people and injured hundreds of more. The attacks occurred in high-traffic areas in Brussels' transportation network, including its airport and a metro station. The bombings were mostly carried out by suicide bombers, with one attacker simply leaving a bomb in a high-traffic area and leaving before the explosion occurred. The city airport remains closed on Thursday as intelligence forces try to locate those who may have been behind the attack. In local news, a rally will occur later today in front of the Providence City Hall to ask Mayor Jorge Elorza to increase funding for the city's libraries. Friends of Providence Community Libraries, which has local chapters throughout Providence's many neighborhoods, is raising awareness on what it believes to be inadequate funding for the city's public libraries. Friends of PCL cite the lack of increase in funding over to the city's libraries over the past 6 years, which have struggled to keep up with the rising costs and increased use of the facilities over this time period. Friends of PCL has been active throughout the community in a postcard campaign to raise awareness on the continued strain of the city's libraries, which have resulted in a vocal response by its citizenry. The rally will occur today at 3:45 p.m. with an expected large turnout, including concerned citizens and members of the Providence City Council. Now I'll turn it over to Erin Shea for news around the Rhode Island College campus.
Community and counseling psychologist Barbara Jensen delivered the Dialogue on Diversity Spring Lecture Across the Great Divide, Crossing Classes and Clashing Culture, before a standing room only audience. The majority of attendees were RIC students, most of whom identified as working class. Turning to the audience, Jensen explained that the top 10% own more than 70% of the wealth, while the bottom 90% must share among themselves the 30% that's left. In the top 10%, 1% own more wealth than the bottom 90 combined. Jensen ended her lecture by suggesting that RIC's working class students deal with the dissonance through resilience. She also concluded a faculty in service following the lecture, focused on the effects of unintentional classism on pedagoggy. Faculty explored approaches that are more mindful of class cultures and create opportunities for working class students to have increased success in the academic setting. This lecture was sponsored by Dialogue on Diversity. Funding was provided by the Community on College Lectures and Learning for Life, with support from the Gender Women's Studies program and the School of Social Work. In other news, Greek Week is back on campus from March 28th to the 31st, with 6 weeks over 4 days that will showcase the breadth and diversity of Greek life at Rhode Island College. The festivities will kick off on Monday night with a new addition to the Greek Week roster, a banner design competition in the Student Union Ballroom. Each chapter will design a banner to the showcase and show pride all week, based around this year's Greek Week theme, Disney. This year's schedule also includes 2 more new events, a kickball tournament on Tuesday night in the Henry Barnard Gym and a trivia night in the Student Union Ballroom on Wednesday. The celebration concludes on Thursday with a popular favorite, the lip sync competition, also in the Student Union Ballroom. Students involved in Greek life are most engaged in the community, and that continues long after graduation. Ultimately, it keeps them connected to the college. 50 years from now, these students will be coming back because of the experience they're having today.
Thank you, Erin. Now for updates on the presidential race, I'll turn it over to Anchor TV correspondent Robbie Rhodes.
During this past Tuesday in the presidential race, Republican frontrunner Donald Trump took home yet another win in Arizona, with 58 delegates and 47% of the votes, while rival Ted Cruz was only able to gather 24.9% of the votes and John Kasich with only 10%. In Utah and Idaho, however, Ted Cruz pulled off some surprising wins, gaining 40 delegates in Utah and 20 in Idaho, with Trump getting 0 in the first and 12 in the latter. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton pulled off the win in Arizona with 44 delegates and 57% of the votes, but was closely followed by rival Senator Bernie Sanders, who finished the night with 30 delegates and 39.9% of the votes. In Idaho, Sanders turned the tables and pulled off a huge win with 78% of the votes, as well as Utah, where he ended the night with 79.3% of the Democratic votes. At the end of the night, Sanders had gained 73 delegates and Clinton 55, showing that Sanders refuses to give up his endless pursuit for the Democratic nomination.
Thanks, Robbie. Now I'll turn it over to David Cusack for sports.
Boston Bruins dropped another game on the road, losing 5-2 to the New York Rangers. The Bruins picked up a goal in the second period and another in the third, but the Rangers' offensive assault proved to be too much. Goalie Tuukka Rask only saved 75% of the shots he faced and was pulled after allowing 2 goals. Backup goalie Jonas Gustafsson didn't fare much better, allowing 2 goals of his own, including one to veteran Rick Nash. The Bees return home tonight to take on the Florida Panthers. Boston Celtics held the Toronto Raptors to just under 35% shooting from the field on the way to a 91-79 win. Isaiah Thomas led the way with 23 points, and Amir Johnson led the team with 14 rebounds. Jared Sullinger stepped up and delivered 9 points and 11 rebounds, and the Celtics defense shut down the high-powered Raptors offense. The C's are on the road Saturday, traveling to Phoenix to take on the Suns.
Thank you, David. That's all for today's Anchor TV News Update. For Aaron Shea, David Cusack, and Robbie Rhodes, I'm Andrew Spaziano. Tune in next week for our new Anchor TV News Update.